Coming up now on stage is someone who didn't play an instrument officially in a session, but he sometimes slipped over, and would sit down at the piano and noodle away. And from the Stamps Quartet, Mr. Donnie Sumner. Donnie Sumner! There you go, right there, man. Come join me, sir.
Lord, my boy.
Now, I don't know if you've been hearing what we've been saying about Elvis working in the studio, but Norbert was talking about what a focused performer he... Yes, sir?
Can I get that stool? I'm old.
You got it. You got it.
At the home, everybody has a stool.
I heard at the home, stool is a big topic of conversation.
This is one of the few things I can still do good.
And it's kind of fun when you slip like that, too.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about Mr. Presley in the recording studio, what it was like and the focus that he had and the focus that you guys had working with him.
Tom, I tell you the gospel truth. The last 58 years of my life has been lived on a bus, a recording studio, a church, or on stage. Mm-hmm. And every one of them's got protocol. Elvis is the only person I ever knew who didn't have any of those.
Yeah.
He was like a 500-pound gorilla. He did what he wanted to. Now, Jerry and Norm, they came in the early years. Mm-hmm. I got there after he got smart. He finally decided he didn't have to take nothing off nobody. And he just did what he wanted to, any way he wanted to do it. Like here, this is a great facility. They got booths for every instrument. Microphone stands. Elvis used to walk. First one I did was Separate Ways at RCA where's that place?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the band was sitting up right in the middle of the room, and Elvis was walking around with a hand mic. Mm-hmm. Didn't separate anything. I thought that was very unusual. I mean, that's just the way he was. Mm-hmm. He did it the way he wanted to when he felt like it. And if he didn't want to do it, he didn't do it. The first I was telling my friend in there, the first song that I ever recorded with Elvis was out there the lyrics were out there on the table called Separate Ways. Mm-hmm. We walked into the studio that night. Elvis was going through some personal things, and he recorded Separate Ways, did a take, and then he did another take. And then Felton started playing it back. He said, JD, he called JD. They got him 2 chairs right out front of these big speakers at RCA. He said, play it for JD. He played it. He said, play it again. Played it again. They sat there all night long. They never recorded another song. They sit there and listen Separate Ways the rest of that night. We got on the bus that night. JD was sitting up in the front, just wore out. I got up beside him and I started singing Separate Ways. He said, shut your mouth, I'll give you where you stand. No, but he just, like, I was listening to Jerry talking about how Elvis was in the studio. There was 2 guys that Elvis relied on in the studio. The rest of us was just paid monkeys. One of them was Felton Jarvis. Mm-hmm. I broke my neck. I can't turn.
I can see it. Yeah.
Felton Jarvis and Red, mm-hmm. And they were his advisors. Felton picked out a lot of music. Red picked out some, but Felton always had some in the pocket somewhere. But Red used to sit out in front of him, and if Elvis didn't know the song, Red would go like it mattered.
The note goes up, the note goes down.
Lord, everything Elvis did in the recording studio, he sang every song like he had publishing on it. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter who wrote it, what the melody was, he'd make up his own if he didn't know one. And Felton would come out there and Elvis would get through with the cut, and Felton would come in and say, "What you think, Keith?" And Elvis said, "Well, I thought it was okay." And Felton would always say, "Me too." But it was quite an experience.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here tonight. We are going to attempt, in our way, to kind of recreate that situation, and thank you so much for being a part of that. I heard you're going to do a little gospel singing for us.
May I impose upon your kindness for
yes,
one
sir. Yes, sir.
Off script?
No, there's no protocol, remember?
Everybody that worked for Elvis was my friend. Some of us, we dressed like the cast of Deliverance. And some of us, our conversation was like Richard Pryor on steroids. There was two guys. Every time I ever saw them in public, in the suite, beside the stage, wherever, they always looked like they just got out of a fashion magazine. And I never saw one single solitary thing from either one of them that I could not have showed to my mother. And I always admired them for it. And one of them recently died, and I never got a chance to tell him. And his name was Joe Esposito. And the other one, I said, next time I see him, I'm going to tell him. And he's here tonight. It's my friend Jerry Shelley. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. And, you put that back on that stand because that'll be Jeff's mic, and I will give this stool back.